Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Spartan here, nutrition training and hormone expert and Prometheus Pro bodybuilder. Guys, questions are coming in, and Shred94 wants to know about organ gut growth from HGH and also wants me to talk about insulin resistance and how this ties in. Guys, let's get started. So, organ/gut growth from HGH. Guys, this is actually, everybody thinks it's so complicated. It's really not complicated. So we're gonna dumb this down and try and get out of here in 5 minutes. So here we go, guys. Organ/gut growth from HGH. Well, what I want you guys to think of is, I want you guys to think of the answer to that question coming down and splitting in two, because really, guys, there are two sides to answering this question. Two easy to understand sides, as I should put it. So here we go. Let's start with actual tissue growth. So a person taking high amounts of HGH, more than your body will naturally produce. Now, guys, when you're peaked out, let's just between 15 and 18 years old, your body is producing about the equivalent of 4 to 5 IUs of HGH per day. So up to that point is, the top of the peak. It's considered safe. Okay, you're not going to have all these terrible side effects. What I'm talking about in this video is when people exceed the standard set again, 15 through 18 years old, when people are taking more than 4 IUs. That's where I like to set the benchmark. If people are taking more than 4 IUs total, okay, that's including systemic and also anything people are taking in, by injection or any other hormone route. So having said that, guys, when total body HGH increases above 4 IUs, these effects can become more likely and also much more possible to happen over the course of time. Think when bodybuilders are taking 10 IUs or 8 IUs for very long periods of time. But again, genetics is going to play a large role. Having said that, guys, with high amounts of HGH use, this is how organ and gut growth from HGH occurs. So number one, like I said, there's two sides. Let's split them into two. So the first side, guys, is actual tissue growth. This is when the actual muscle tissue or actual smooth muscle tissue of the internal organs, small intestine, large intestine, actually grow. They actually hypertrophy. Now, this doesn't happen in normal people because think when you're 18, your body's naturally producing 4 to 5 IUs of HGH per day. Of course, it's 100% perfect pharmaceutical grade, 99% and higher, because it's made by your body's own pituitary gland. It is perfect. So what's happening is that you don't go above this limit, everything's fine. But when you skyrocket HGH use, what actually happens is that the HGH will just absolutely pummel the smooth muscles on the small and large intestines. And you can cause actual tissue growth just because the HGH receptors are being fully saturated all the time. Again, this is kind of dose dependent, but you can actually stimulate the small and large intestine. You can basically stimulate the cell division and a protruding belly from extreme HGH usage. Again, anything over 4 to 5 IUs. I would say 4 to play it safe. So that's one route, and that's caused by the HGH hitting the cells, and obviously the IGF-1. Basically, IGF-1 is referred to as a feeder hormone. So the IGF-1 is going to basically force nutrients inside cells that HGH has already stimulated. So it's kind of a double whammy there. So you have HGH and IGF-1. I would call it abuse. IGF-1 abuse, stimulating actual tissue growth on the smooth muscles of both the small and large intestine. So that's on one side. On the other side, besides the actual tissue growth, you have the problem of insulin resistance and a lowered insulin sensitivity. Now, to understand how this works, basically, you eat carbohydrates. They enter your through the small intestine, they enter the bloodstream, and the glucose level in your blood rises, okay? So carbohydrates, whether it's simple or complex, doesn't matter. It all ends up the same way in your bloodstream. It's glucose. And in a normal person, the beta cells in the pancreas will be stimulated to release insulin. That's going to lower your blood sugar. Now, the problem, guys, with this is super simple, but the problem with HGH is that, again, once you go above 4 IUs, we'll just say 4 IUs, that's the safe limit. Once you go above 4 IUs, what's going to happen is that 4 or 5 IUs, HGH is going to keep skyrocketing, okay? HGH is going to keep skyrocketing and basically releasing, stimulating the body to attach onto fat cells and release more fat cells, more energy equals more blood sugar, higher glucose levels in the blood. So what's going to happen is the more HGH you take, the higher your blood sugars, the more blood sugar is going to be released. And now typically when this happens, the liver converts the HGH into IGF-1. Now the IGF-1 is going to lower your blood sugar. So in a normal person, think when you're young, you have crazy high levels of HGH. What's happening is HGH is rising, but IGF-1 is also rising because of the conversion into IGF-1 in the liver. So HGH rises and also IGF-1 rises. So the HGH is increasing blood sugar and the IGF-1 is lowering blood sugar because the IGF-1 is forcing the blood sugar into the cells the HGH is stimulated, right? Well, the problem occurs when HGH goes too high that your body would naturally never have in its body, that IGF peaks out. IGF will hit a ceiling. This is supposed to be a ceiling. IGF is going to hit a ceiling and crash. It's not going to go above that point, which means, guys, is that the liver is only able to produce so much IGF-1 naturally. And when you hit that ceiling or get close to that ceiling, HGH is still working and freeing up more and more and more lipids and creating more energy and more blood sugar. But IGF-1 isn't able to lower the blood sugar. God made us amazing. He made it so that the HGH increases the blood sugar and the IGF-1 which is made from the HGH conversion in the liver, also rises to basically get rid of the blood sugar. It's a absolutely wonderful physiology concept to talk about. But what happens is when you take too much IGF-1, your body can't produce anymore in the liver, so it's gonna peak out and ceiling out. And then what happens? What happens, guys? The pancreas is going to have to work now to dump the extra blood sugar because IGF-1 can't keep up. So once a pro bodybuilder is taking 10 IUs, the blood sugar is going to get too high. The IGF-1 can't pump enough blood sugar out into the cells. Well, the pancreas is going to take over, and it's basically the same thing as when diabetics, when you have people that have type 2 diabetes from eating too much sugar and too much garbage in their diet. The pancreas is going to be working to produce insulin. You're going to have insulin overstimulation. The overstimulation is going to basically pack fat, guess where? All behind and around the organs, the small intestine, large intestine. And this is what's called visceral fat storage. The fat's going to push the gut out. So hopefully, I'm giving you guys more information than you need, but this is basically how you get the organ gut growth from HGH. First, you have the actual tissue growth, and then you have the insulin sensitivity and resistance issue just caused by IGF-1 not being able to keep up. And then the pancreas has to, keep you alive and keep blood sugar levels down because too much blood sugar is toxic. If you take an anatomy, you know that. And the pancreas has to keep up, and the pancreas is basically sweating trying to keep up. And that's going to be, the insulin is going to be packing in the fat behind your organs, behind the muscle wall. So this is why you see those pregnant bellies, the distension, but yet they have a six-pack, is because the HGH is peeling off the fat, the fat and the sub-Q fat. IGF-1 can't keep up, but the fat has to be stored somewhere. It's stored in the easiest place to store it, and also the place which has the most IGF-1 and insulin receptor sites, and that's right all around the small and large intestine. Guys, that's pretty much it. Keep the questions coming. Seth Spartan, and we are out of here.